Good morning, everyone. It's your boy Sky Clutch TV. How you guys doing today? This is a little mini rant video on the U.S. soccer team and their loss to Trinidad and Tobago last night. Now, let me give you a basic rundown of the hex and what that means. The hex is a hexagonal qualification table that CONCACAF, the confederation that U.S. in, is basically all of North America, Central America, and the Caribbean. So basically, why winning last night was so important was not because Trinidad had a chance to qualify, because they were out. They were always going to be out. But we needed to maintain that fourth place position or get ourselves in the third for automatic qualification to the 2018 FIFA World Cup, which did not happen. Unfortunately, we would have still gone through if we lost, if Honduras did not beat Mexico and Panama did not beat Costa Rica. Unfortunately, both happened last night. So not only were we ousted out of a potential interconfederation playoff spot, which would have seen us gone to go play Australia for the spot in the World Cup, we instead got ousted to fifth place. Panama advanced to third, and Mexico and Costa Rica stay in first and second, respectively. Now that the basic hexagonal rundown is explained, let me tell you why the USA lost. It's not because our players are bad. It's because Bruce Arena, who is not the best coach for the job, honestly. There's so many international coaches that the U.S. could afford. Why we went back to Bruce Arena is miraculous, because Mark Walmots was still looking for work, and if Arena gets sacked, then, we have all this talent that we could possibly, get in. Thomas Tuchel's looking for work. Carlo Ancelotti, Louis Van Gaal, who I think is still looking for a job. I don't think he is completely retired yet. At least I wouldn't be. And basically, some of the blame runs down on Trinidad and Tobago. There was no fair play. They were trying to foul Pulisic the whole game. They were going down injured to run down the time clock. Just basically things that you do if you mean they have nothing to play for, man. And they had nothing to gain from winning this game. The only thing they had to gain was bragging rights, and we had everything to lose. And unfortunately, the United States lost everything last night. Pulisic couldn't carry the team. He's a 19-year-old kid. Everyone's saying that Pulisic, we need to build a team around him. You need to stop, because we can't build a team around a 19-year-old kid. That's something that Argentina does. Pulisic is good, but he's not that good. He's not Messi quality. He's not Ronaldo quality. He's a youth. He's a young kid. He's only 2 years younger than I am. He's a young kid, all right? You're putting too much pressure on him. And another part of the blame goes to Bruce Arena for he doesn't promote good development in the MLS. The MLS is not the best league in the world. That is apparent. But we should still be able to, compete with the other CONCACAF leagues. I mean, we go to the CONCACAF Champions League. I mean, we're always being dominated by Mexico. Mexican they got a great domestic league. They got so many good domestic clubs such as Atlas. There's Club America, Veracruz, Monterrey, Pumas. There's just so many good domestic clubs, and honestly, we only have two really good domestic clubs, and that's the Seattle Sounders and that's the LA Galaxy. And basically, it's just a giant retirement league. And that is really why a lot of the blame is placed on Bruce Arena, because he relies too much on these MLS players to get the job done. I mean, I get it. We had some injuries. We had Brooks was out on an injury, but we only have two good abroad players that were playing in the squad last night, and that's Pulisic, who plays for Borussia Dortmund, and Newcastle United's DeAndre Yedlin. I mean, everyone else is basically in the North American League. You got Tim Ream, who plays in the championship. You don't even have some of the, other young young European based players. Matt Miazga, not included in the squad, plays for Vitesse on loan from Chelsea. You got Jeff Cameron, who's old. He isn't even good for Stoke City. And then friggin' the goalkeeper, Tim Howard, Brad Guzan, and Nick Raimondo, they're all in their late 30s, mid-late 30s. You have so many good young goalkeepers that are playing in the MLS. FC Dallas's Jesse Gonzalez, DC United's Bill Hamid, New York City's Sean Johnson, Ethan Havrath of Club Rouge, who played in a preliminary game. I can't speak, I'm sorry. This is I'm really heated right now. And there's William Yarbrough, who plays for Leon. And then there's so many good European-based players. You don't have to... If Arena ever watches this, he probably won't, but Arena, you don't have to rely on MLSers. There are MLSers everywhere. I mean, our best players on the pitch last night were Bobby Wood, Christian Pulisic, and DeAndre Yedlin, to be honest. Because they know what they're doing. They're being coached by real coaches. Rafa Benitez, Peter Bosz. And you got these European rejects now playing in the MLS. Alejandro Bedoya, Dempsey, who had like one good season with Spurs. And I mean, there's just too much reliance. And the league is not good enough to rely on that. And the third thing it boils down to is USSF's failure to develop the club academies really well. Because now you have these in I think it was Taylor Twellman who said this. It might not be. Or Alexi Lalas. One of them said this. You have these overpaid, tattooed millionaires that they just don't want to play. They don't have the passion for the game. All they see is a paycheck, and that's a real problem in American sports culture. That all they see is a giant paycheck. Here's another good defender that you could have had there instead of Matt Beasler, who's trash. Matt Beasler is very bad. You could have had Cameron Carter-Vickers, who plays for Spurs. He's on loan on Sheffield United right now. Fabian Johnson, where is he? I think he's injured, but I'm not entirely sure. But if he's not, then where the heck is he? Play him on left back, what's his name? Jurgen Klinsmann always did. You have Lyndon Gooch for Sunderland. He's been all right with them so far. Sunderland is, I think, they're doing all right in the championship, I think. Let me do a quick search. Current season. Okay, don't quote me on that. Maybe Lyndon Good shouldn't have been included. What about Julian Green? He scored that goal against Belgium in the World Cup. He hasn't been a bad selection whenever he's been on the field. You also have Aaron Johansson. Where is he? Is he injured again? I mean, we have a lot of injuries. I mean, where's Dom Dwyer? He's not doing anything. He just made a big money move to Orlando City. I mean, there's just so many better selections that could have been picked for last night's squad. And don't get me wrong, that 4-0 thrashing of Panama was great. And we definitely needed that, but you can't get half the results and expect the same outcome. It doesn't work like that. And I'm sorry that this mini rant turned into a 10-minute rant. And I know probably most of you aren't here for the rest of the rant, but I just really need to get this out. So basic 3 things. If you skip to the end, too long didn't read, whatever. Number 1, Bruce Arena has to go. We need to get a better coach. We need to get a European coach. A coach that knows what he's doing. Jurgen Klinsmann He knows what he's doing. We ousted it out way too soon. We needed to be patient with him. And all the people back in 2015 saying, Klinsman out, Klinsman out. No, we need to get rid of Bruce Arena. The second thing, we need to get rid of Gulati, the president of USSF. He has to go too. He can't stay. There's too much corruption in the U.S. Soccer Confederation. Federation, sorry. He's got to go. Okay? Because we need someone that actually cares about the sport and not about filling up his pockets. Like, that should be like your number one priority is qualifying for the World Cup. And number 3, we need to have a better domestic league. MLS is great. It's fun to watch. You know, it's a great introduction to soccer if you live in this country, if you live in the United States. But if it can't compete with the other leagues in North America that have been around for years, MLS is only 20-something years old, then, you know, there's no point. And the last thing is a heavy reliance on Pulisic. We have other European, you know, base players that are good that we could be developing too. We're having way too much reliance on Pulisic, and it just needs to stop. Okay? We can't build a team around a 19-year-old kid. Argentina did that, and now Messi is burning out in Argentina. I know he got the great hat trick last night to send his team to the World Cup, but expecting the same of Pulisic at this level, at his age, that's too much pressure. He's gonna burn out. We're gonna burn him out like we did with Freddie Adu. If you remember Freddie Adu, guess what? He's still playing professionally. He's like 26 and he plays for the Tampa Bay Rowdies. That's what happens when you overhype a player before he's ready to be overhyped. And don't get me wrong, Pulisic has much better technical ability than Freddie Adu. But honestly, we're going to burn him out. Bruce Arena was brought in so that we qualify for the World Cup. He failed to do his job. And then he had the audacity to say last night, nothing needs to change. No, if you don't meet the quota, the reason that we brought you in for, if you don't meet that reason, obviously something has to change. Because if you try that same crap again for 2022 qualification, it's not going to work. We're going to miss qualification again. And with that being said, I'm out. Thank you guys for staying this long in the video if you did. I will be having my live stream of The Simpsons Hit and Run levels 5 and 6 today at 12 o'clock. You guys can catch that at 12 Eastern Time. Woo, I scored! Also, if you haven't followed me on my social media accounts, follow me down below, my Twitter, like the Facebook page, and follow me on Snapchat to get updates on when I'll be live and stuff like that. Alright, you guys have a good morning, and I need to have a cool drink.